And here we are in the Cretan city of Xerjoff. Here's my lovely companion, Claire Smurfy Girly. Now, here we see the ancient Roman fountain from dating around the time that Christ was born, which has been well preserved and is well looked after. And here we see clear evidence of the vibrant culture of the Romans around that time, who clearly like not only culture and civilization, but also some of the same things that we enjoy today. Hello everyone, so welcome to another episode in my 10 out of 10 fragrances series. The fragrance of choice today is going to be 1861 Renaissance by Xerjoff, the Italian niche company. Okay, so this fragrance has been out since 2011. Originally it was just called 1861. They now have that as a bit of a series, so there are a couple of other fragrances, one of which is Naxos, which I really like, and they're all called 1861 something, so they called the original 1861 Renaissance to avoid confusion. And let's have a look at it. The bottle is beautiful. I don't really give huge importance to presentation on fragrances, but it does help that this one has a lovely bottle. I believe we have a new bottle being brought out now for a lot of these fragrances from Xerjoff, so I'll try and put a picture of that on the screen. This one has some nice detailing on the back, lovely lid, very ornate, a little bit simple, but there's enough going on for this to have a little bit of a wow factor for me, and it comes in a very nice presentation box too. The smell on it is the real reason that I love it so much. So I'll just give it a spray. So this fragrance is a citrus fragrance, primarily a citrus aromatic, I guess you would call it. We've got some lemon, tangerine, bergamot and petitgrain, which gives a sort of bitter green note in there. And the base stuff is also really nice, and the middle stuff, because we've got some rose and lily of the valley, so there's some florals going on in this fragrance. In the base, cedarwood and amber combine nicely to give it a somewhat sweet kind of woody dry down, but it always hangs on to that essentially fresh nature. The opening is the most spectacular thing for me, and it's so arresting and invigorating and rejuvenating, even in the way that it has this extremely fresh and identifiable notes of different citrus fruits. Orange isn't actually listed, but I think mandarin and tangerine are going to be similar. It's as if someone's just opened a fresh carton of orange juice, or maybe opened up ripped the skin off a tangerine to eat it. You get that note in the air when you smell this one at first. Very, very invigorating, fresh, natural smelling citrus is the characteristic thing with this fragrance. As it dries down, things get even more interesting. I wore it on my holiday recently, so we're going to see some footage of that while I describe the rest of the things about the fragrance that I like. So I took the fragrance on my recent holiday to Crete with Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel, and it was during that holiday that I really convinced myself that this one was worthy of 10 out of 10 status. For me, in my personal opinion. The reason for that, well, it stood up really well in the hot weather. It's appropriate, of course, for the very, very hot sunny weather you can see there over in Crete, because of that freshness and because of all the citrus stuff going on in it. So it was great for daytime on holiday. It was great for situations when I wanted to feel refreshed and invigorated, but it also worked well in the evening, because I wore it a couple of times, and both times it worked really well. So on nights out also, I felt it was great. There's some historic stuff we did, seeing Knossos, the seat of the first human civilization, apparently. But the fragrance stood up well on nights out as well as in the daytime, because it has a little bit of complexity. It has very strong performance. It projects really well, particularly in the first couple of hours. After that, it sits back, but it does last very well on the skin. Mike's Pub there, another ancient site on Crete that must be visited by anyone who goes there. And there's me having some fun. So What impressed me with this fragrance was the versatility of it for daytime or nighttime. There's enough going on there to make it really interesting if you do wear it on a night out, as well as being a good freshie for daytime situations. The note of mint, which I forgot to mention earlier on in the video, is also really important in this one, smoothing out the sharp citrus nature of the opening and giving it a really unique and different twist that they've done with great style and panache, much better than recent releases like Crypto Mint by Thierry Mugler, which have for me a more clumsy use of mint. So I was really impressed by the fragrance on my holiday, and it's really elevated it to a perfect 10 for me. It's got tremendous complexity, and when you are wearing it, the greenness comes through as it develops and the woodiness, but somehow it never stops being fresh. But there is an evolution, and that complexity for me makes it a real winner and what I'm looking for in a great fragrance. So to summarise, things making it a perfect 10 for me: it's natural smelling. The ingredients are really good. It's a strong performer. It smells classy. It smells a little bit expensive. It's versatile. You can wear it in daytime and nighttime situations. It lends itself to hot weather, but there's no reason you couldn't wear it to work in colder weather too, and maybe even on nights out. If you're that way minded, I think it's going to work fine. It does perform well. Develops on the skin. It changes as you're wearing it. It's interesting. It's a little bit unique because although there are a lot of citrus fragrances, this one does stand out compared to some designer ones which are all a little bit close in smell. I like Bulgari Aqua Amara, for instance, but this is more unique than that. That smells like an amalgam of other things. Really well done, but this one has a uniqueness about it. It's complex. There are a lot of different things going on. It's not just citrus freshness. There are florals in here, and the amber. There's a niche quality, and it's likable. Anyone will like this fragrance. It's almost impossible to dislike it, unlike some niche fragrances which can be challenging. So that is some of the stuff I like about this fragrance. I do think this one is fine for people of all ages. It's actually very unisex too. Women can wear it fine, but it tends to come off a little bit woody and masculine on my skin. But I think when a woman wears it, and Claire has worn it a couple of times, it smells completely appropriate. Price-wise, well, I guess that's the only drawback. It is rather an expensive fragrance, but it's not as expensive as some of Xerjoff's other stuff. And as niche fragrances go, it's not one of the most expensive, but it could be one of the best right up there. I mean, it's as good for me as Neo or Kobe, both of which I've sampled from Xerjoff, but they cost more. So another reason why I'm really recommending this one. So there we are, great performance, very fresh, niche quality through and through, wonderful presentation which they've changed, but let's see how we like the new ones when we get to see them properly. I prefer this one from the picture, but I'll let them off on that one. 10 out of 10 fragrance, hope they haven't messed with the smell. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Superb. One of my favourites in my collection, a fairly recent discovery, and one that I would highly recommend to anyone out there who likes fresh citrus fragrances to check out. Thanks very much for joining me. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye.